Hello, class. Uh, what we'll do here to start is we will install a excuse me, virtualization software, and also we will set up a Windows Server virtual machine. I'm assuming Windows here, the procedure is more or less the same for other operating systems as well. We'll see that you have those options. I'm assuming Windows here, it's a Windows Server class. And so anyways, we'll just go ahead and proceed. This is nice to have because you could do this locally. You can do this on your desktop. You're not, beholden to access to the cloud, like let's say for the Azure cloud environment. And so let's go ahead and begin. In the course orientation materials, you see we have the Google Drive for files. By the way, keep in mind you can just pause me and come back to me if you think I'm going too fast for you. And then in here, I have my Google Drive link. And so if you click on it, it's just a shared folder called CTS4323. I'm actually downloading, or I'm uploading, excuse me, I'm uploading the ISO file to it. And so it will be here when you look in here. But besides that, I also have the product key, which we'll need to install um, the operating system. Okay, so just keep in mind that those are there. And actually, I'll go ahead and start that upload. I see it's not there. So there we go. All right. Okay. So to start, what we'll do is we'll download the virtualization software. Here I'm using VirtualBox. It's what I'm most familiar with. Yeah, Hyper-V is fine, and we're going to look at that in the course. But here on my local machine, I'll use VirtualBox. I don't have professional. I don't have server hardware to run it on locally, so I just use VirtualBox. All right. So I have it for Windows. If you have Macs, Linux, and also Solaris, it's there. Solaris probably none of you, but I'll go ahead and click it, and it'll download. And actually, if I'm not mistaken, I already have it. Yeah. So here, while that one's downloading, fine. We can cancel it. We can wait for it to download or whatever. But this is the one, VirtualBox. Let's start. Yep, we accept. Okay, we accept defaults. Network disconnection, fine. Okay, I don't want to create a desktop shortcut to it. That's up to you. And we'll go ahead and go. And what I'll do, I'll put you on pause. It may take a few, so I don't want you to get, we're just kind of listening to me here. Well, actually, you know what? It's going, seems to be going along in the clip. So I guess we'll give it a few more seconds, see if that, and everyone's going to move along. And so, yeah, look at that. All right, we'll go ahead and start it. Some of you may need to install Python for this part, if I'm not mistaken, and that's fine. You can go ahead and do that if you have any problems, let me know. Or really, what you should be doing is reaching out to the Discord channel also with any specific set of questions, because a lot of your colleagues that have felt your pain before will be happy to share with you as well if you're having problems. All right, so here we go. VirtualBox Manager. And so what we'll do, we'll go ahead and head over to our shared folder. You notice I'm uploading, you see the DVD ISO file there. When you should be downloading this. You should have started downloading this at the beginning of the video. You may need to walk away, have some coffee, whatever you do, go for a walk at the gym. I don't know, because it's 5 gig in size and it may take some time to upload or download. But once it is downloaded onto your machine, this is when you'll continue. So what you do is you create a new machine. Okay. And it's smart enough to figure out it parses uh, what here, we'll say Windows. If you call it something like Windows Server 2022, there you go. Look, see, it parsed my name string. And so I was able to figure out, hey, that he obviously wants Windows Server 2022. So you'll choose your image, and that it's in my downloads. It'll also be in your downloads too, when you pull from the off of my Google Drive. You're able to choose the file, just like, excuse me. Yeah, you'll be able to select other, and you'll be able to select the file. Okay. And yeah, that's the OS edition. That's correct. And I do not want unattended install. Do not want it. All right. So here we go. All right. It created the machine pretty quickly because it already has these built-ins for it. Now, what we want to do, we don't get precipitated. Don't hit start yet. Go to settings. And if I go to storage, you see how it's already created a controller? We don't want that. All right. So we'll create a new controller and it is going to be LSI Logic SAS. There's a reason for that. All right, and now to this controller, we'll add a hard disk. You see it auto-created one for us. So that's the one we want. Windows Server 2022.bdi, that's the one it created when we actually created the VM. Now, not only that, I want to add a couple more. I'll add a hard disk. I'll create, this is for an activity. That's a little bit later in this lesson, but it's still in this lesson. So, or in the first lesson. So we'll go ahead and get this out of the way now. We'll create just 2 more disks, right? Easy, easy. Okay. Create. Oh, darn. Sorry. Sorry, that's optical. Sorry about that. Create another hard disk. Oh, create, not add. There we go. Yep. All right. And we will lastly, aha. So here we go. We add optical disk. And there we go. Look at that. It's already there. We have our ISO file. ISO is an image file. And so we want to choose it for our optical disk. So this is the, virtual equivalent of actually sticking a DVD in the drive. And so this by default is what server is going to boot from. So, basically we have a brand new server machine and we put the disk in it. Now we're going to boot it. Just think of it that way. So now we okay. Actually, let's go back to system. You know what? Let's go back to system. Base memory 2 gig is cool. Uh, Virtual monitor. I don't really care if you want more than one. You can dual monitors and whatnot. Might be a bit much. Everything looks good here. Okay, we have our default adapters. Yeah, I think we are good to go. Where's our CPU? Back to system. Uh, Processor, there we go. Yeah, I want 2 CPUs. All right. And so let's start, see what happens. Hopefully good stuff. Keep your fingers crossed out there for me. And we still got one more step after this. So if you're thinking of just flying through and saying, yeah, I know, I'll just install the defaults, that's fine. But we do have one more step that I want you to do. So, come back and watch this anyways, if you're dead set on that. Yeah, so here we go. Fine. Adjust this to whatever. I'm comfortable with the US English keyboard. Right. Now, actually, you know what? Hang on. You shouldn't run ahead of me because there's one thing I wanted you to want to ensure that you do. All right. Okay. So yeah, anyways, here's the startup. The startup prompt, you guys probably remember and intuitively know to go to the product key. And I am not offline. Come on. Come on. Let me Darn it. Let me pause this. I don't know why it's telling me I'm offline. I swear I'm not. So I'm going to pause this. And as soon as I come back online and get the product key, I'll get back to you and we'll continue. Here we go. I'm back. Okay, so I got the product key. So what we'll need to do is type this in manually. We'll have to do it manually this time. We'll see in a bit how to get around this sort of manual, this sort of lack of copy and paste. All right. Okay, so we got what? Victor Delta Yankee Bravo November 27 Whiskey Papa Papa Victor 4 Hotel Quebec Tango Niner Victor Mike Delta 4 Victor Mike Kilo 7 Hotel. Okay, let's hope I typed that in right. Here's the gotcha. Be sure to check desktop experience. Otherwise, we're just stuck with just the console interface to the VM, and generally we have more than that available to us. We would only have server core available, and we'll talk about that too. All right, accept terms. Yep. All right. Well, you can just custom because we're not upgrading, right? We're doing a new install. Okay, fine. We'll install the operating system with the master boot record, etc. on drive 0. That's fine. That's the first of our 3. And getting ready, installing features. So I'll put you on pause again, and I'll let you run ahead with this, and then come back to me. All right, I'm back. So it probably rebooted, restarted for you. And oh, where are we? Yeah, here we go. So go ahead and type in a password for your administrator account. Something you'll remember, please. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so Control Delete to unlock. So if you press Control Delete, you're going to do it. It's going to happen on your computer very likely. Um, we can capture the keyboard, and that may help. But what you can also do is just send Control Alt Delete. There we go. So it simulates a Control Alt Delete to the machine. And now we have logged in for the first time. There we go. Boom. All right. So that really pretty much, yeah, one more thing I'll show you, I guess. That pretty much concludes. Oh wait, no, it does not. Yeah, fine. So keep this in mind. What we'll do, insert guest edition CD. So that kind of tricks the computer into believing that we've inserted the guest edition CD into the DVD drive. There we go. Look at that. Yeah. Next. Next. Go ahead and do it. And I'll explain why this is important here. As is, if you try to copy and paste into your VM or copy in your VM, and paste to Notepad or whatever forms, if you're trying to figure an error out, it will not, it just won't do it. The reason is we need to enable that. Um, we need to enable, excuse me, yeah, we need to enable copy paste. So how we do that, we install the guest editions. I imagine it's disabled for security by default, if I remember correctly. So we can get around that by installing guest editions, and that's not the only thing. What we need to do also is clipboard and devices shared clipboard bidirectional. That way you can copy back and forth. So now we're talking. All right. And so I guess a couple other things I wanted to show you. We'll send it that Control Alt Delete. All right. We can view full screen. All right. So now how we get out of this is right control. You may not have a computer with the right control, but you can remap this. So, all right, there we go. So now we're in full screen mode. So, you might prefer this. Also, if I come down at the bottom, if you don't have the right control on your computer, that's fine. You see the maximize, unmaximize here. There we go. And if we come back to machine settings, What did I want to show you here? You could set up a shared folder if you want to transfer files back and forth between your VM. And that's also you have to install the guest editions for that as well. So you could create a new shared folder. You point it somewhere on your computer. Let's say we want to share, I don't know, documents. Sure. And the folder name in my local machine or my the folder that is it'll appear to the local machine is going to be documents, and then mount point is where um, it'll be on my host or on my guest machine on the server machine because my machine is the host because it's hosting that server as a guest, right? Just sort of think of it as a house, right? Someone comes into your house. And you can select, auto mount. Definitely, you want it to, it'll kind of appear each time you start that way. And you have some other options. I don't want to make it read only. So now you have, if anything that I put into C users Patrick documents will be located in C windows on this guest or on the guest machine. And one more thing, and then we'll conclude. I swear. Um, oh, wait a minute. You have to apply. There we go. All right. So if you try to shut down, a lot of the time it won't do anything. If you try to shut down, I won't try it here because look, it'll make me into a liar if I try it this time. But usually, in my experience, when you try shutdown, it doesn't do anything. So here you go. So go ahead and start up the command prompt, CMD command, enter. Now, shutdown is the command used to shut down, but that's not all. It does take arguments. You can restart. Not what I want to do. I want to shut down. And when do you want to shut down? By default, I think it gives you what 2 minutes to it in a log a message. It'll say, "Hey, the computer's going down for shutdown." I want to shut down immediately. There we go. Watch this. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Shut down. Oh, you know what? I'm using sorry, I'm using switches. There we go. Slash forward slash. Hey, look at that. All right. And I think that's really concludes what we've got here. You can do shutdown slash R, by the way, slash T, and then 0 for the amount of time to wait for restart in the case that you want to restart. And so I think that's a wrap here. Let me know if any questions or if you have difficulty, reach out to your colleagues again in the Slack channel or in the Slack server or Discord. I'm sorry, Discord server.